Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Real Sports Updates here, back again with another video. You see the thumbnail. What's going on with the Steelers? And specifically, what's going on with Ben Roethlisberger? Well, this is something that everybody should have seen coming down the line. This decline that Big Ben has been on, it's been in the works for a while now. And now it's starting to come to a head, and I think it's going to start getting ugly for the Steelers. They have no clear succession plan in place. They got Mason Rudolph on the roster. Dwayne Haskins is on the roster as well, and I believe Josh Dobbs is there too. There's no clear number two behind Ben Roethlisberger, so the Steelers are probably gonna have to go in the draft and look for a quarterback this offseason. Ben is, and I was a big Ben fan. So if there's any of my subscribers who are Steelers fans, I apologize, but it's over for Ben. He just doesn't have it anymore, and he looks old. He looks really old. He's starting to look like Phillip Rivers did that last season with the Chargers. Starting to look like Eli Manning the last few seasons with the Giants. He just doesn't have it anymore. And it is what it is. It comes with age. I believe he's 38, 39 years old now. So, and he's a guy. Ben is a guy who he's been known to not really take care of his body. To the fullest extent of his to the fullest extent of his what he can control. He's a guy, he doesn't he's not a gym person. He doesn't do a lot of real like physical stuff in the off season. He looks like he just sits there and chills all off season, and he was able to get away with that when he was younger. But the older you get, the more you have to put into your body, especially recovery in the off season. With sports science, the advances that have been made, just within like the past 15 years or whatever, he's had every avenue to take care of his body, but he just doesn't seem into it. So, and this is the result that you're seeing. He looks old, and you look at Tom Brady. Tom Brady's 44, and he looks way more spry, and just way more, into it than Ben Roethlisberger is. So and that's not to talk down on him or whatever. He was a guy, he was able to succeed with his. He did have athleticism coming to the league. He was able to succeed with that, and he also had a great awareness. He had great presence in the pocket and stuff. So, he was fantastic. But I think it is over now. I think it's done. The Steelers they're really in a gray area right now. I think they have talent on both sides of the ball. Their offensive line play has been really shoddy this year. They've been a team who's been known for their offensive line play. Kind of AFC version of the Cowboys. They had the best offensive line in the AFC for a while, but those guys got up in age, and a couple of them retired, and a couple of guys moved on to other teams now. So their offensive line is just really hasn't been up to par, and it's not up to Steelers standards. So most of the offensive struggles that they're having, most of it has to do with offensive line play. To go along with Ben Roethlisberger and his decline. But the other obvious thing that has really stood out for me and a lot of other people is Steelers football really is a thing of the past. Steelers football is stop the run. Mike Tomlin, when he got hired, Steelers football, stop the run the ball, and they don't. Their defense is good. but they don't run the ball, and they haven't consistently ran the ball for a really long time. Since Le'Veon Bell was there, and even before that year that he sat out, they did run the ball because they had a reliable running back, but their whole entire offensive philosophy was to, take shots down the field and have Big Ben drop back 40 times and throw the ball. And, it's fun to watch, and it does, it does lend to some success. The Steelers have been great drafting wide receivers, so they have guys out there who can catch the ball, make good plays and stuff like that, but I think they haven't had that playoff success in a really long time is because they kind of just up and abandoned the run game. That's not even like an organizational thing with them anymore. They don't really run the ball. They drafted Najee Harris out of Alabama this past offseason in the draft, but he's only gotten how many? I think 26 carries. The Steelers have only ran the ball through these first 3 weeks 14 times a game. 14 times a game is not enough. And I think Ben is averaging, through these 3 games, he's averaging like 43 pass attempts per game. That's way too much. That's way too much. That's way too much for even whoever you think the best quarterback in the league is now. That's way too much for them. You have to be balanced offensively. And the Steelers have slowly worked their way out of, a balanced offense into a quarterback-centric Ben Roethlisberger. We're going to drop back 50 times, throw the ball all over the field, and just try to, outscore you. And it doesn't work. It does not work. You're going to have balance if you want success in the NFL. And I think that's the one thing that, pretty much every team going back for like the past 10 seasons, even you look at the teams who have high-powered offenses, they present balance. The Chiefs, their Super Bowl year, everybody was talking about Mahomes or what he did, whatever. The one thing they didn't talk about was how well they ran the ball. And the yards per carry were out the wazoo because they ran the ball really well, and it presented problems for defenses. So, I just don't. I don't think the Steelers are going to. I don't think they're going to have much success this season, and it'd be interesting to see going forward. Into next season and beyond. What are they going to do with the quarterback position? Because I don't think Ben is. I don't think Ben is coming back for another season, and if he does want to come back, I think the Steelers are going to cut bait, and he'll have to try to play somewhere else. Which I don't know. He doesn't seem like he would be open to that. I don't know. I don't know him personally, but he doesn't seem like he would be open to going and playing somewhere else. He's been a Steeler his whole entire career, so it looks like it. It might come down to that at that point. But he's a guy. He's just 3 or 4 years ago, he was teasing retirement and stuff. I might retire. I was thinking about retirement, and you've always heard that come out of his mouth, and he's a, so if you're thinking about retirement, if he was thinking about it 3 or 4 years ago, then I don't really see him moving to another city, moving his family to another city to play football, for another team, and probably not a great organization just because, most of the great organizations have their quarterbacks in place now. So, he would have to either be a backup somewhere or, I don't know, go play for a rebuilding team, which I don't really see him doing. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the Steelers do. And I think they know it now. I've seen some reports come out about their quarterback situation and how, there's some regret within the organization that they didn't handle this or give this, much attention, in the years previous. So they're paying for their mistake now. It's like ripping off a Band-Aid, man. You got to just rip it off. You try to take it off little by little and little by little and just rip that thing off. And that's something that the Steelers didn't do. They didn't rip the Band-Aid off. And now it's too late. This season is pretty much going to be it might end up being a wash for them. depending on how good the Cincinnati Bengals look, they look pretty good. They obviously beat the Steelers last week, but they look pretty good as well. They look like a competent group, and a very young and up and coming team. They have talent on both sides of the ball, and I didn't see the Bengals being better than the Steelers, but it looks like they might be this year. It's a long season, but we'll see. So Pittsburgh might be in last place in their division by the end of the season. That is a very, very, very very reasonable possibility. And I don't think a lot of people saw that coming into the season. I know I didn't, but this is where we are, man. 3 weeks into the season, this is going to be an very interesting season. We'll see what the Steelers do. I think, it's time to rip the Band-Aid off now. But I think they, in my opinion, I think they let the season play out. It is what it is. They know that they don't have any, Super Bowl aspirations and all that stuff. And I think they get into the draft and they might have to trade up. Mike Tomlin does not have any losing seasons. I think this is his 15th season coaching the Steelers, and he does not have any losing seasons. His worst finish is 8-8. So don't expect the Steelers to be like in the top 5 in the draft or whatever. They'll probably be middle of the pack. The 17 games this season, they might finish 8-9, maybe 9-8. With their head just above water. But look for them to make a trade to try to maybe get into like the top 10. I know the quarterback prospects coming out of college this season into the draft are, the quarterback pot is not as big and bountiful as it was last season. So they're going to have to either finish with a really bad record, or they're going to have to trade up and get a quarterback that they desperately need right now. It's time to move on. That's it. It's time to move on. Ben is a Hall of Famer. He's going to have his jersey retired, with the organization. He's going to go down as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, one of the greatest quarterback draft classes of all time. But, all good things come to an end. And it's time for the Steelers to rip the Band-Aid off. I know a lot of their fans feel the same way. From what I gauge and what I see on social media, they do feel the same way. So they're expecting it. And I think this lull that they're in, the struggles that they're having, and if the struggles keep continuing, people are going to understand, okay, this is inevitable at the end of the season. This is going to happen. Hopefully it just turns out okay. I know the Steelers are a first-class organization, and, if they do move on from Ben, they'll do right by him. So, I don't think they'll have any trouble there, but, it's time to move on, and time for them to put their best foot forward, and just try to get the next guy in there, and hopefully they find the right person. You don't want a Miami Dolphins situation, after Dan Marino retired and having 20, 30 different starting quarterbacks, until you have to find somebody. So, but like I said, they are a first-class organization, so I think they will, and I think they'll be fine going forward. The waters, for the next few seasons are going to be a little choppy, but I feel like they'll get it together. They know what they're doing. They are 6-time Super Bowl or 5-time Super Bowl champs, 5-6 times. So they know what they're doing, and they'll be fine. But as of now, this thing is done. Ben's done. But hopefully he does go out well, and he doesn't have an embarrassing conclusion to his career. So hopefully everything goes well for them. But yeah. So that's it. I just wanted to touch on that, and so we will probably see you guys tomorrow. Probably get another video out tomorrow, and yeah. So don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let me know your comments, and thank you guys for watching.